Cajuns dropped their first 2 games of the season to Missouri State before winning 9-7 yesterday. Northwestern State starts its season by sweeping Texas Arlington. LRN. The LSU women's basketball team returns to the practice court today after a tough 79-72 loss to South Carolina Saturday night. LSU missed way too many shots down the stretch and missed 9 free throws for the game. Coach Kim Mulkey says they didn't do the little things well enough.
Only one possession, Coach. Don't get all upset because I failed to block out or I missed that free throw or I had that turnover. Or they all add up. And, gosh, we've really had an opportunity to win this game tonight.
That's now 18 straight losses to South Carolina. LSU will look to rebound Thursday night when it visits 14th-ranked Ole Miss, which lost by 17 to Kentucky on Sunday. The Lady Texters won their 12th straight on Saturday and will be at Jacksonville State on Thursday. The McNeese women's basketball team's win streak is up to 15 after beating UTRGV on Saturday. The McNeese men are at Northwestern State tonight. Nichols visits HCU, and the Cajuns are at Old Dominion. LRN.
KSYL.
There's yet another new research study throwing significant shade on the belief that driving EVs have any positive impact on our environment. I'm Kim Commando for NetSuite. AI is everywhere, and companies using it have the advantage. If your revenue exceeds 7 figures, get their free guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/Kim. There are good reasons to drive an EV, but if you're doing it to save the planet, new research from the respected Queen Mary University in London finds EVs deliver no proven carbon savings at all. The university calls the study a sanity check as Britain races net zero emissions by 2035, meaning an all-electric vehicle nation. The study points out fossil fuels still power many electric generating stations. As more EVs are added to the roads, power station loads increase, as does its carbon output. So we're really only rearranging where the same amount of pollution comes from. If you want an EV, buy one, but you are not saving the environment. Get my newsletter at getkim.com. Every business is asking the same question. How do we make AI work for us? The possibilities are endless, and guessing is way too risky. Sitting on the sidelines is not an option. Your competitors are already making their move. This is exactly the solution I turn to. With NetSuite by Oracle, you can put AI to work today. As the #1 AI cloud ERP, trusted by over 43,000 businesses, it brings your financials, inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM together into one single source of truth, making your AI smarter. It doesn't guess, it knows. It automates routine tasks, delivers insights, cuts costs, and powers fast AI decisions. Now with NetSuite's AI Connector, you can take the AI you already trust and connect it straight to your business. This is not another add-on tool. It's built into the system that runs your business. NetSuite helps you stay ahead. If your revenues are at least 7 figures, get their free business guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/Kim. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Talkback on Monday, the 16th day of February. It's President's Day, and I'm filling in for Al Quartermont. Nathan Martin here for Al, who is at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention this week, and I get to see Stephen a lot more this week. How are you, sir?
Good. How's it going?
And that's going pretty good. I had a good weekend. Hope you did as well. Did you get some rest over the weekend?
Yeah, I didn't really Mardi Gras it up this weekend. Kind of stayed home, did some work, and we wanted to go to the cruise parade yesterday in Alexandria, but just got tied up with everything. But it looked like it was a good time.
Everything I hear was positive. Did hear some rumblings about some fights that my son told me. The teenage social medias are full of activity about fights, and it's kind of a carryover from the Winterfett fight that happened, and that there was a football game, and so apparently, and I'm sure the police are on it, apparently there's a couple of gangs. There's the Flurry gang, and then I can't remember the other name he told me, but one's an Alexandria gang and one's a Pineville gang, and you know, so that, but that's very isolated. Outside of that, seems like everybody had a good time, and the rain came in late, so it didn't come in and, you know, disturb people's afternoon plans. So I'm sure folks enjoyed that. Did the rain cause you any turmoil? Did you lose any power or anything?
Well, we were, my wife and I were out Saturday night. We did the reservations at Diamond Grill for Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Fantastic. Loved it. But I get a text like, oh, it's about to come down hard. You might want to get home. It's like 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get in the car. We turn on Nick, the live stream. And he's like, if you're by the Hotel Bentley, like if you're downtown for stuff, stay there.
I heard him say that. Just
He's
stay in the
like,
hotel.
Stay there. And I was like, we're right by the Hotel Bentley. I'm like, no, we're just gonna risk it. We got up to the Circle at Horseshoe in Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and it came down hard.
Yeah.
Couldn't see 2 feet in front of me, and
Wow.
we just got in, I guess, and rushed inside the house. So,
Wow. Was your dog scared?
I don't think so.
Okay. Was Sophia with the grandparents?
Yeah.
Cool.
They didn't even. She didn't even know what's going on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, we started getting all the notices. Well, we were in the kitchen. I don't remember cooking or cleaning or something. And my daughter's phone, I always keep my phone on silent, so it's on vibrate. My wife does too. So, but our daughter's, whatever that sound was. And so she read the National Weather Service notice, and I grabbed my phone. I'm like, I didn't even get it. And I looked, well, yeah, I did. It had gone off. And so I instantly turned on Nick, and I think he had been on for 2 or 3 hours by that time. The guy lives and breathes weather, of course. And I got to tell you, what an asset he is for our community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's such a gift to us, and he loves it. That's what makes it so good. And we were tracking it, and I was, could tell my daughter, hey, it's going to be here the next 10 minutes. And sure enough, about 10 minutes later, the bottom came out. And the lights flickered 2 or 3 times, but they never went off. And so I ended up, a lot of times I study late on Saturday nights. It's just for my sermon on Sunday. It's just my routine. And usually I study at my home office, but I had earlier in the week or Friday, I'd done some good studies for prayer, and I had all my resources laid out. So I told my wife I'm going to go to the office and do my studies. And so I headed up there, and this was after the storm had passed. And 2 of the roads I went on did have downed limbs, pretty large limbs, but nothing that impeded traffic. Didn't see anything else beyond that. And so hopefully everybody was safe. I haven't heard of super widespread damage, so I'm hoping everybody was fared well. And again, gratitude to the National Weather Service and to Nick Mikulus for keeping us up to date on what was happening. So, all right, as I mentioned, Al is away this week. Does he take students with him to the NRB?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
You
Whenever I was there, we did.
I thought he did that. So
we went 3 or 4 times.
So he'll be out all this week, and I'll get to fill in at least 4 days, maybe 5. We'll figure out that as we get towards the end of the week, and we'll enjoy getting to chat with Stephen even more on the show here. I want to mention to you the BOM talk line, 318-442-8255. We have no guests today scheduled, so it's a wide open opportunity for you to call in and talk about what's on your mind. Of course, one of the things that's on the top of everybody's minds is qualifying that happened Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And when at 4:30 struck on Friday, it was finalized as to who was running for what. And I want to give a shout out to Councilman Kevin Dorn of Pineville, who was reelected without opposition. I think that's a huge accomplishment, and I give him kudos for that. I have reached out to him this morning to see if he might call in and give me a chance to congratulate him on air, but I don't know if he will do that or not. But such a good thing for him, as he's actually the longest serving council member in Pineville right now. He was elected in 2000 to fill the unexpired term of, drumroll please, Clarence Fields, who had been appointed to mayor, and then he won the special election to fill that seat. And so there had to be a special election to fill Clarence Fields' District 2 seat, and then Councilman Kevin Dorn was elected in 2000. So he's been there for 26 years, and he'll have 4 more.
Wow.
Yeah. So Kevin and I go way back. We went to high school together, sang in the choir together. I know that you kind of raised your eyebrow a while ago when I mentioned that to you. He's got a very good singing voice.
Very good.
Very active in the community. So, yeah. So let's got a couple minutes here. Oh, the phone line is lit. Let's go to the phone line and let your call always go first. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Yeah, I usually get up fairly early in the morning, but not like I used to when I had to work for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking around outside, and I heard some robins singing.
Ah.
And I thought, no, why not call in with every once in a while with a nature report?
That would be nice.
And many people simply don't know that robins nest throughout Louisiana, north of the Gulf marshes and swamps. And one of the best places to find them in the Alexandria area is the Lake District walking area on the, I guess, basically the northeastern side along the Derosion Canal. But you can also find them on the open grounds underneath the live oaks around the airport. So we have robins year-round. Most people just assume they come in the winter and leave and go back north, but they're here all year long.
Well, that is fascinating. I didn't know their patterns, so that's really interesting to hear.
And, of course, for the hunters out there that might have aired when they were younger, they're also referred to as red-breasted doves.
Oh, really? Okay. I had never heard that.
They're quite good to eat. And I guess until they got protection in the early 1900s, they were regularly hunted for food. Of course, now if you get one, it's probably a $500 bird, but you have to get caught.
All right. Well, that's fascinating. I know we have always counted on them as signs of spring. They mean a lot when you see them showing up and their little flocks out in the fields and the yard and in front of the church. It's always been something that I found to be beautiful, but I didn't realize what you were saying about their nesting patterns.
Yeah, well, they're getting together right now to basically start building nests and making little robins.
Interesting. Well, since I've got you on the line, this isn't a bird question. I don't know. I think you're familiar with agriculture and fruit trees and whatnot as well. I don't know if I made a mistake, but during the really cold freeze that we had a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I had gotten a lime tree that we were going to grow, that we planned to plant, but it was still in the pot outside. And so rather than like bring it in the carport and cover it, I told my wife, let's just go ahead and bring it in the house and we'll put it, by a window until this freeze is over. So we did. And well, the freeze extended, the cold weather extended. So it was in the house for at least a week. Next thing I know, it's budding. I'm like, uh-oh, I hope I didn't mess up its cycle because it went through a little bit of cold earlier and then I put it inside. And do you think I may have messed up the tree's growth cycle?
Not particularly, as long as you take good care of it if it gets cold again.
Okay, yeah. Well, the fact that it's in a pot sure makes it easy to do that, and we haven't planted it yet, but I probably need to do that now while it's, well, I don't know if you're supposed to plant in the fall or when's the best time to plant trees. Because Arbor Day was just a couple of weeks ago, and then so it seems like maybe this is a good time according to them giving out thousands of trees.
Yeah, except for the fact that it's a lime tree and it's a citrus, and it's at the extreme northern edge of its natural range anyway.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So here's the full confession. You go ahead.
I think I'd wait until you were sure there wasn't going to be any more freezes.
Okay, very good. Well, the full confession is we've actually had it for, I think she got it in spring of last year. And so we've had it for almost a year in that pot. And it actually gave some limes last year in the pot. And I've just been so lazy, I haven't planted it yet. So I'm going to do that. But I think I'll follow your advice and wait till I know the final freeze of the year has passed.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Well, great. Well, thank you. Always appreciate your calls because I always learn something.
Sure.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you for that. We're going to have to take our bottom of the hour break. Give us a call after the break, and we'd love to hear from you. 318-442-8255, the BOM talk line. Back with more with Stephen and Nathan right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A key measure of consumer inflation fell to a nearly 5-year low last month as apartment rent price growth slowed. Prices at the gas pump fell, along with the cost of used cars, furniture, and auto insurance. And that good news about easing price pressures led investors to believe that the Federal Reserve could lower interest rates as many as 3 times this year. That sent stocks higher, at least for most of today's session. And at the closing bell, the Dow was 49 points higher. The Nasdaq, though, was down 50. The S&P ahead by 3. Gold prices back above the 5,000 mark today. Silver was higher as well. And the Trump administration moving ahead with a more than $38 billion plan to remake the U.S. immigration detention system. That includes acquiring and renovating 16 detention centers, adding processing sites, and taking control of 10 existing facilities to streamline the removal of those they say are in the U.S. illegally. And the largest facilities can hold as many as 10,000 people. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Looking for fun, learning, and excitement at your fingertips? The Rapides Parish Library has you covered. With our easy digital online calendar, signing up for events has never been simpler. Whether it's story time for the kiddos, workshops, painting classes, book clubs, or special guest speakers, you can browse and register right from your phone or computer. Just click, search, sign up, and show up. Head over to our website at rpl.org and get connected today.
Good morning. Some clouds to start us out on this Monday. That's going to give way to mainly sunny skies this afternoon. 68 for the afternoon high. Not bad at all. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and some fog as well. 51 the overnight low. And then the clouds are back for Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see the afternoon highs on Tuesday near 75 degrees. And then 80 degrees for the high on Wednesday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talkback.
Welcome back to Talk Back for Monday, the 16th day of February. It's President's Day, which means the federal offices are closed. I think the mail's not running today. Banks may be closed. Need to check with them. So let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I'm off today, too.
Oh, hello. You're off every day, though. You're retired.
Yeah. I just thought I'd get that in.
I love it.
I wanted to call in about something that's very important. We've been talking about it lately, and that's UBI, Universal Basic Income. It's going to be a favorite talking point of the Democrats because of the AI scare, and I just wanted to discuss it right quick. For people who don't know, UBI was made famous by Milton Friedman because he was a conservative, and he talked about it. It's not that he wanted it, but he favored it over all the other government projects. He could see in the 70s that our government spending was going in the wrong direction, and he said, look, a UBI would be preferable to all the other spending. But we know that a UBI would never, it would be like Keynesian economics. They won't take the good and the bad. They'll take just all the giveaways. And so I heard one of Reagan's economic advisors come up with an analogy that shows perfectly the flaws of that. Say there's 10 men on an island. Okay, I'm going to try to go quick. There's 10 men on an island. They work each day, catch enough fish. They feed their families, and they're getting by. Well, missionary shows up one day, gives them a net. Now 2 men, one man to drive a boat, the other man to throw the net. They can catch enough fish to feed the whole island. Well, the island has a huge problem, 80% unemployment. Well, the Democrat shows up and says, that's not a problem. You just tax those 2 guys 80% of their catch. Everybody's still eating. And that is one way to handle it. And then a free enterprise shows up and says, no, don't take their cat, don't take their food. Tell you what, you, Mr. Unemployed Fisherman, you go learn how to juggle. And then when these fishermen come in, they'll be tired and they can pay you with their fish to entertain them. And the other one, you go and teach their kids while they're fishing, and then when they catch their fish, they'll pay you with their fish. And you go learn about diseases, and if they get sick or if they cut themselves, they can go to you and they can pay you with their fish. And what the difference is, one approach raises the quality of life on the island. The other approach is stagnant and leads to people being idle. Now, it sounds cute, but it's very serious. If we implement a UBI and we pay people to stay home, we're gonna increase hedonism. And Alan and Stephen were talking about this last week, some of our problems that we have. People tend towards hedonism. That's just fulfilling our basic desires. It saps innovation, and what's going to happen is it's going to increase dependency upon the government. That's why you're going to see the left and the Democrats pushing this like there's no tomorrow. They're taking the things Elon Musk is saying about this scare. We got to have UBI. All these guys are going to be unemployed. Well, my advice is that we listen to Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was asked, once slavery ended, what do we do with all these men that are unemployed? This was a real crisis. There was a lot of people who were no longer employed as they used to be, and they were forming groups, and they were prone to violence, and because they were hungry, they were desperate. And Frederick Douglass said, do nothing for him. He said, the Bible says, he who does not work should not eat. He said, let his hunger pinch him. His hunger will move him to work. Now, that's a cold way to look at it. But that's the truth because of the nature of man. And our problem today is people are convinced that it's the responsibility of the government to take care of people. You hear it with Bernie Sanders, with wanting universal health care. And look, once government starts feeding you, you're not a citizen, you're a subject. And that is the thrust of the left. They want people dependent on government because they're easier to control, so they can force on us their utopian way of life that they are convinced is better, even though it's not worked anywhere else in the world. So,
hey, I completely agree with a lot of what you're saying. I just think that the argument back on that would be that with artificial intelligence, man's innovation would be irrelevant. There would be such an abundance. Yes.
So they're saying, I think that's false. And I think history has proven it's false. The story, you might not be old enough, but when Walmart was coming to Gina, everybody was saying, oh, it's going to kill Gina. All the businesses are going to go out of business because Walmart sells everything. And there were protests. There was a lot of huff and puff. And you know what? A lot of businesses did go out of business, but they're all back. If you drive through Gina now, they're all back. But they're doing something different. They're doing something Walmart can't do. And I agree, it's going to be violent. But look at the alternative. If what you're saying is true, and I know you've heard it because I've heard it, that's what the Democrats are saying. It's going to be so fast that people won't have time to react. Let their hunger pinch them. It's going to cause some difficulty, and people are going to be going to grumble. But if we choose what looks like the golden path, we know what's down that path. So people who are responsible and who have understanding have to instruct those who are not stupid but ignorant. My dad taught school for his whole life, and he said, ignorance can be cured, but stupid is forever. We have some people who are stupid, but we need to test them. No, that looks like a panacea. Yeah, take money from these people and give it to these people. It never works. It never produces the good that's purported to produce. It always produces idleness, laziness, and a degradation of society. Look at when they had everybody was promoting the lottery and gambling, and people came and gave us good stats of what would happen. It would increase spousal abuse. It would increase abandonment of children and families. And we voted for it anyway, and all those things went up.
And look, I agree with you. I'm just saying, the argument back on that now is with these unprecedented technologies that we're seeing, it would make scarcity a past paradigm. It would make jobs a past paradigm. It would look like something we've never seen before. Do I think it's going to be better? I'm very skeptical, but I just think we're dealing with a different ballgame now. But under the old rules, I think you're completely right, 100%.
The caution I would give you is that it's been throughout history, that has always been the excuse for taking drastic measures. They say, oh, we've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I just don't think we've ever created anything in the history of the world that was smarter and better than us.
Well,
I think that's the thing
the left
that they
has
would say.
pushed us into a position where they think it is the government's job to feed people, and that's the first thing we have to fight against. No, in a republic, you enjoy the benefits of liberty. They come with a cost and a responsibility. If you want that care, go to prison. They feed you, they take care of you, your health care, you don't have to worry about anything, but you're in a prison. So that same prison is waiting for us if we go the way of UBI. Now, it's going to take some tough love, and people are going to gut up. And look, it's like I told you about that show, Humans, that came out, BBC, probably 10, 15 years ago. people moved out to the country, and they said, yeah, these guys are more productive, but we want to do it this way. And they raised their own food. They did what they needed to do. They kept their families together, and they got by. And I believe man will adapt. We always have. We always have. And if we're not, then we're at the end of our life cycle. And if we're just going to be kept in cages, because I believe, I mean, Bible says it and experience proves it. If people are paid to stay home, nothing good is going to come from that. They will eat. They will eat, but then they're gonna spin off into things that are destructive, behaviors that are destructive. And so we have a choice to make. We need to be mature now, and we need to tell people the truth now and get them ready so that when it does come, look, I know self-driving cars, it's going to put a lot of truck drivers out of business. But that's going to free them up to go do other things. And it may just be learning to juggle, to entertain people. But there's something we'll be able to do.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
I think a lot of people are nervous about it, like you said.
I am. I'm a little nervous because it's so fast. It's gonna happen so fast.
But you see Musk now talking about. I shared it with Nathan the other day, and Musk is trying to sell a product, and he's trying to create hype for something. But he's also saying, like, saving for retirement, in 10 years is going to be completely irrelevant. He goes, there's just going to be such an abundance of everything. You just wasted your time. He also said jobs are going to be irrelevant. I mean, it's something we've never seen before. And it's very nerve-wracking. If I'm like a student in high school right now, I don't know what the heck I'd do. Mm-hmm. I know they're probably ignorant of a lot of it, and I think a lot of people are in general because it's happening so fast, and these things don't ever happen like there was a flip of a switch and we all change. It just happens over time, right? Mm-hmm. But this is, I don't mean to sound like a COVID fearmonger, but I'm saying we've never seen anything like this ever. Ever.
No, but that's what they said in Gene at Walmart, and people adapted, and I think people will always adapt. That's the difference between us and animals.
The only thing I would say about the Gene Walmart situation is that was based on experience in other small towns, perceived and experienced, and we haven't had any experience like that. And so I'm not defending either side. I'm scratching my head trying to figure out what's happening, and I'm trying to find that article you sent me, and apparently Twitter X is down right now nationwide. So for the last 27 minutes, it's not accessible. So.
But with the Gene Walmart situation, it's still employing people. It's still providing services for people, and it might eat up other small businesses, but it still gave people something to do, right? Still gave people jobs and a service. They're saying this is just going to completely replace all that. All of that is just going to be meaningless. It's pretty scary.
I think people, when we can't see very far ahead of the boat, we trust to sound seamanship. And so let's hold to the principles that we know is true. It's good for people to work. It's good for people to work, and their hunger will drive them to work. So anyway, I wanted to, when y'all didn't have anybody else on. Thanks. Y'all have a great
timing. I appreciate that. We had another call a moment ago, but it just dropped off. Other caller, please feel free to call back. 318-442-8255. We'll continue the discussion on the other side of this break.
KSYL.
Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Louisiana's Julia Letlow. What do they have in common? Liberal Julia Letlow voted with Joe Biden more than any other Louisiana Republican in the U.S. House. And just like Nancy Pelosi, Letlow has traded hundreds of stocks while serving in Congress. Worse, Letlow violated federal insider trading laws by failing to report her shady stock trades, potentially millions of dollars worth. But that's not all. Before she went to Congress, liberal Julia Letlow was a university bureaucrat. She instituted radical DEI policies, woke sensitivity training, and the university put up a public art display honoring defund the police activists. Is that what Louisiana wants in the U.S. Senate? Conservatives just can't trust liberal Julia Letlow. Louisiana Freedom Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. LouisianaFreedomFund.org.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at DTWOfficeSupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
I start every workday morning off the same way. I stop in and pick up breakfast at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express. It's convenient, quick, and oh so good. Croissants, biscuits, breakfast subs, and their hot coffee is the perfect pick-me-up. They always ask me why I'm in such a good mood when I get to work. Improve your mood. Stop by Wilmore's any weekday morning from 6 till 9 and get your day started right. That's Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express right there on the corner of North MacArthur Drive and Bayou Rapides Road.
A message from Israel Air Conditioning and Heating.
Yeah, my mama, she told me to pick up and call Israel Air.
She told me Israel Air. She told me.
She said they'll come a-running with comfort beyond compare.
And a very fair price.
Because you know we're all about your comfort, no troubles. Call 442-6657. That's 442-6657. We're all about your comfort,
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talkback. We're having a great conversation on and off the air about AI and what it means to us. Let's go back to the phone lines. You're on the Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Well, good morning. I read a lot what Elon Musk is saying, but I don't think it's going to be absolute. I think AI is going to be a tool to use for things. It's not going to be ruling over us and controlling us. I don't see that. I don't see AI coming out and fixing my air conditioner. Not for a long time. And something else I think about if we do get ABI, or, a basic income for everybody, are we going to allow people just to have babies who can't find work?
Well, I will tell you, like one of the things Stephen and I were talking off the air was, this makes me question, what will life be like for my grandchildren? I have 6 grandchildren. 5 of them are under the age of 8. And in 20 years from now, when they're in their productive years, their beginning productive years, I don't know that I can imagine what the world will be like for them. How do I counsel them or provide any guidance on the future when it's so uncertain? You said you're not, there won't be robots fixing air conditioners. How long? Maybe 20 years from now? I don't, as fast as
I think it'll be much less. But what do I know?
Right. I mean, I'm putting that at the outside edge of things. This Optimus robot looks like it's going to be mind-boggling to us. And I think in 10 years, we'll all have one.
We're still kind of in baby stage. That's what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very, very positive about the future. I think it's going to be great. But, there are other technologies out there that nobody talks about or even reads about that's imminent. That's going to change things just as much as AI. And so, anyway.
Yeah, give me an idea of another one because I want to learn.
Well, there's billions and billions of dollars being spent by private people to make people stop getting old.
Mm-hmm.
And stop dying of old age. They're still going to die of something, but they're going to stop dying of natural causes or old age. That technology is coming, and it's only a few years away. And I don't know.
Yeah, I think AI will have a big part of that. I read a story earlier this morning about how AI has discovered an answer to a physics problem that human could not resolve. And they said one of the reasons was it explored something humans never would have explored to get to the answer. Well, when you have computational power like AI, humans will rule out, well, there's no sense in us even studying that because of such and such. And AI says, well, I got free time. I'll study it. And it came up with a solution to a physics problem. So if you apply that to cancer and to genetic disorders and to the diseases that kill us, and it comes up with solutions, certainly life will be extended.
Well, y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Always appreciate your call. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Good morning.
Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, man.
I think that the skilled trades are still going to be around. I mean, there's so many variables when you're doing construction.
Sure.
Sure, it's standardized, but I mean, when you start chasing electrical ghosts and all that good stuff, and there's a big difference between, to me, just looking at some of the futuristic movies. Well, of course, like the Terminator series, where supposedly the machines became self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my dog is self-aware, but he tends to respond in programmed ways. I don't know, where we're going with this. At some point, you have to wonder, and this is kind of Star Trek-y, where do you start defining life? I mean, in the Star Trek series, Commander Data was recognized as a person, an android. So, it's kind of weird.
Over the weekend, I made the comment in my family I wanted to go back and watch the Will Smith I, Robot movie just to see, because how many times have we seen that Hollywood or the show creators were ahead of their time and things they predicted happened? And I don't want to get into the self-aware aspect of it, although I'm sure we have to have those discussions. But I remember another movie a few years ago. I wish I could remember the name of it. And the actor wakes up and there's advertising everywhere. He picks up his cereal box and the cereal box has moving video advertised on the cereal box, which is a disposable box. I mean, every single thing. And I thought, we're not very far from that because we have advertising everywhere. And everything's coming in that direction. But, in your world, and we talk about the trades, certainly if you had a robotic assistant that could pick up 400 pounds and could maneuver in tight spaces under your control and command, would that not make your job better?
Sure, I can give you a good example. Just this last time, I don't know if you know what a flow safety valve is, a check valve.
Yeah.
It prevents backflow. Or actually, as we say, it minimizes backflow because they don't have to be bubble tight. Anyway, this thing weighed, it was rated for 2,400 PSI with a test pressure of 4,000. So, I mean, it was a 4-inch line, and the flanges on this thing were 2 inches thick, probably 350 pounds. Now, two of my guys, of course, I'm 60, but two of my younger guys could maybe hold it in position, but you're talking about, anything over 75 to 80 pounds is a team lift, considered a team lift, strictly because of people getting hurt. So we used an air hoist. But yeah, it would be amazing if something the size of the size of a human being, if you would, a Commander Data, with six times human strength, picks it up, holds it in position, and the two humans stick the bolts in and tighten it up.
So I've got a couple of friends that own, HVAC companies, and we've had lots of conversations. I find things fascinating. I love to hear conversations, try to learn. I don't want to get up in the attic and fix it, but I like hearing. And just the complexity of how every job site is different. Every attic space is different. Every installation is different. That's where it feels like it's going to take a long time for something to learn, but I think it could, because the way that they're advancing is just amazing. I want to be optimistic. I want to be the Pollyanna and say it's going to make life better. But I also appreciate those who recognize the need for guardrails and say let's keep safeguards in place, because sometimes good ideas have bad unintended consequences.
I think it's going to eat up the white collar jobs first, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
I totally agree.
Let me give you an example. In my own house, we had a new air conditioning unit put in. My old unit, which was 30 years old, used R22, and R22 is a little more efficient in some ways than the newer, Freons. So the new unit needed greater return air service. Now, I'm pretty sure a robot, with a pair of laser calibrated eyeballs could go, zzz, just look at it, scan it within seconds and go, okay, we need to put a grill this. Because the guy had to get up there, he had to crunch the numbers in his calculator and stretch tape measure. Took him about 30 minutes. Well, I would imagine, because, see that, well, you have to know that, these newer units, they need more return airflow. So that's just a for instance. Like, I'm kind of like you. I'm hoping this doesn't blow up in our faces.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, one worse than, and like you said, some of the futuristic movies like The Matrix and Terminator and all of that, that's the dark side of it.
You hear some like Musk say, like, it'll be beneficial for humanity. There might be some growing pains, right? Loss of jobs, transitioning process. There's other AI developers who say that it could be the end of humanity completely. So what do we know, you know?
Well, what's the old saying? Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and the reality somewhere in between.
There you go.
There you go.
But one thing I would point out is, and this is a video that's on YouTube by Dr. Peterson, the guy, he's a Canadian psychologist.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson, where he talks about one of the problems we've got, and y'all were hitting on it previously just a few minutes ago about paying people to stay home, Stephen, like you said about paying people to stay home and what are they going to do, have babies and all that. Well, we're already doing that.
Yeah, but that outcome's not very good, is it?
It's not very good because I know, Nathan, you as a pastor, you'd say, young idle hands of the devil's workshop.
Oh, absolutely.
But from a realistic standpoint, what do we do? And Jordan Peterson talks about this. 8 to 10% of our population has an IQ of 83 or below. In a futuristic, now, when you were walking, 8 hours behind a mule plowing corn, you don't need a high IQ. It's not even considered a skill job. It's a semi-skill. Those people can do that. How many of them can write code?
Right.
How many of them can...
And nobody's going to be writing code. I think within a year from now, I don't think anybody's going to be writing code.
AI's writing its own
AI's
code.
doing it now, yeah. Hey, we've got to take our last break. Got another call on the line. Thanks you so much for your call. I'll be right back after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter. At The Clinics, your health is our priority. Whether it's a routine checkup or ongoing care, we are here for you. Dr. Noah Miller, our newest family medicine physician, along with 5 other dedicated family physicians, are now accepting new patients. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, if you're ever admitted to the hospital, our doctors will see you there too. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823, online at theclinics.us.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
My mother told me about Pro Carpet and Doug cleaning when the twins were so sick with allergies and pollen, and boy, did it help. And lowered our utility bill. And we almost have no dust in our house.
50% of all illness is caused by indoor air. 9 out of 10 systems fail because of dirt and dust. Doesn't your family deserve clean air?
For a cleaner, healthier home, call 445-4818. That's 445-4818.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Broker Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, back to the talk line we go. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Good morning. I just have a thought.
Yes, sir.
For everybody to think about. At one time, man did not have fire, and now we have satellites around the globe. And think about everything that has transpired from that point to the second point. This is part of the evolving of man, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree.
Yeah. No, I think, and I know who you are. You and I have good conversations. I like the way you think, and I appreciate that insight. And we need grounded responses to situations like this.
I don't think it's healthy for people to. It's just my thoughts only. To be afraid. Think about what has transpired. I got one little baby story
we got 15 seconds.
Okay.
You want to call back after the top of the hour? Why don't you call back after 8 o'clock and let's hear your story. I want to hear it in context, okay?
I think you'd enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. Hey, that wraps up hour number 1. Give us a call back in hour 2. Steve and Nathan, open line on Talkback. Talk to you then.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. 2 weeks and a day, and there's still no sign of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who disappeared from her home in Tucson in the middle of the night. Her family has issued a new plea. Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is in Tucson.
As the search for Nancy Guthrie enters a third week, Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie had this message late Sunday for her mother's abductor.
It is never too late to do the right thing.
Investigators are now focusing on items they believe the suspect was wearing the night Guthrie was taken on February 1st.
They believe his clothing and a face mask were purchased at a Walmart. There's no sign of a quick end to a partial government shutdown that began Saturday over Democrats' demands for major changes to ICE operations after deadly crackdowns in Minneapolis. Minnesota Republican Tom Emmer tells CBS Mornings.
The House did our job. We have an agreement. My position is the Senate should pass the bill that we already passed.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on CBS's Face the Nation.
To have a good faith conversation about everything, but fundamentally we need change that is dramatic, that is bold, that is meaningful, and that is transformational.
A trial begins in Georgia this morning for Colin Gray. His son was a high school freshman when he allegedly brought an AR-15 style rifle to class and shot and killed 2 students and 2 teachers. CBS's Skylar Henry is in Winder.
Investigators say warning signs surfaced a full year before the shooting.
Say something about school shooting?
Body cam from 2023 shows deputies questioning Colt Gray and his father Colin after receiving anonymous tips about online school shooting threats linked to the teenager.
Colt, 16 now, is awaiting trial on 55 charges, including murder. Marco Rubio continues his European tour with a meeting with Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban in Budapest.
While signing a deal on nuclear power generation cooperation, the Secretary of State said the U.S. and Hungary are entering what he called a golden era.
The relationship between the United States and Hungary today is as close as I can possibly imagine it being.
Prime Minister Orban maintains close ties with Russia's President Vladimir Putin and buys Russian oil, with the Ukrainian delegation heading to Geneva for another round of U.S. brokered talks with the Russians. Rubio said,
"We're the only nation on earth that apparently can get both sides to the table to talk."
Michael Toscano, CBS News.
The suspect in the mass shooting that killed 15 people at a Hanukkah party at Australia's Bondi Beach made his first court appearance in Sydney today via video. Naveed Akram's attorney, Ben Archbold.
He's just a client, and he's a client that needs to be represented, and we don't let our personal view get in the way of our professional obligation.
This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here. Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring. Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now. JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet. Just a couple things, huh? Maybe more than a couple.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids, No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Looking for a new car?
The annual auto issue from Consumer Reports lists 8 new vehicles its advisors say shouldn't be on your shopping list. The Toyota Sequoia in the large SUV category is described as having clumsy handling, a cargo space that's surprisingly limited, and an interior that's too basic for a vehicle that can cost more than $84,000. Consumer Reports says the Honda Prologue in the electric SUV category has poor visibility and subpar reliability. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
A man in New Jersey is showing his good humor with an ice cream truck made almost entirely of snow. It's parked on Robert Schott's front lawn in Cranford, and just about everything, save for the 4 wheels, reflectors, and sign, is made from ice and snow. He's been selling real ice cream from the side of his truck. Scott says he's donating the proceeds to a children's hospital foundation. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jean Burns. Accidental overdose has been the leading cause of pregnancy-related deaths in Louisiana since 2018. But Project Maternal Overdose Mortality has arrived to change that, creating safer, more effective pathways to care. Secretary of Health Bruce Greenstein says 11 hospitals around the state are participating.
Pregnant and postpartum women affected by substance use can access the comprehensive medical, behavioral, social supports needed to achieve a healthy pregnancy and sustain recovery.
The field is set for the Louisiana Republican Senate primary. After voting to convict then-former President Trump in his second impeachment trial, incumbent Bill Cassidy is in the political fight for his life, facing 2 major challengers in Julia Letlow and John Fleming. But Cassidy says he thinks it's a fight he can win.
Ultimately, the people in this state are going to vote on who is delivered for our state, who is delivered for safer streets, for more affordable drugs, and for better paying jobs. And that I've delivered far more than any of my opponents.
LRN. Louisiana's longest-serving U.S. House member Steve Scalise is seeking a 10th term in office. The Republican from Jefferson Parish, who also serves as the U.S. House Majority Leader, is heavily involved in national politics. But Scalise says he's played a crucial role in securing funding for roads and bridges and flood control projects here at home.
We've been able to deliver billions of dollars in coastal restoration and flood protection projects, which are so vital to people being able to be safe in their homes.
Scalise is facing one challenger in the Republican primary, and there are 2 Democrats who've signed up in the Democratic Party. Only one of Scalise's challengers has raised money, and that's Lauren Jewett of Metairie. Jewett says improving public education is one of her main campaign platforms.
We must invest in our public schools and protect public education. We must have strong neighborhood schools that strengthen our communities. We must have a national scale for teacher pay so that we can attract and retain great educators.
LRN.
Tired of that same plumbing issue? Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Plumbing problems, large or small, Southern Air will fix them all. And you'll get service with no delay from certified technicians the very same day. Take advantage of our $99 drain clearing special and our 0% financing for those larger jobs. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com. The official heating and cooling provider for LSU football.
Good morning. Some clouds to start us out on this Monday. That's going to give way to mainly sunny skies this afternoon. 68 for the afternoon high. Not bad at all. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and some fog as well. 51 the overnight low. And then the clouds are back for Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see the afternoon highs on Tuesday near 75 degrees and then 80 degrees for the high on Wednesday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to Talkback on President's Day, where some things are closed. Federal offices especially are shut down. But today, we're still open. We're here, and your phone line is open at 318-442-8255. We had a caller at the end of the first hour. We asked to call back because he had an interesting story. I don't know if this is him. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
This is him.
Great. Thank you for calling back.
You're welcome. It's a beautiful story.
Good.
50 years ago, I worked for a carpenter. At that time, I was 15. He was 65. And he grew up right in Wardville.
And he told me when he was about 13, he was laying on the ground with his dad at night because, you know, they didn't have all the stuff we have today. And they were staring at a full moon. And his dad raised his arm and he said, son, one day man will go to the moon. You do the math. That's over 100 years ago. And look what has transpired since, and we haven't fallen apart as humanity yet. So I don't think everybody should be so afraid, because there's another theory. If it gets out of hand and silly and ridiculous, you can always cut the water and the power off and it doesn't function anymore. Those are just my thoughts.
Well, I think, and Steve and I think both of the mindset is we desire to be optimistic about it and more of the glass half full side of things.
Sure.
And it is good to be reminded of the resiliency of the human spirit, which is something I don't think AI can replicate. It'll be programmed to do things, but we're not programmed. I think there's just something in, and now I'm going to delve off into my other job. As a pastor, I believe we were created in the image of God, and we have that special spark of life given to us as his special creation. And so I do think there will always be that, and it will find its way. You know, it found its way back when we were using spears and swords and slingshots, and it found its way when we're using remote-controlled drones. And, I mean, through all of technology, we've always found a way to show creativity. And, I mean, even AI is a product of human creativity. And so I think we'll find those beautiful ways to do that. And I appreciate that story with your dad, or with your dad told you that man had said. Is that what it was?
No, I worked for a carpenter.
The carpenter's
50 years
dad.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah, the carpenter's dad. But and I believe you're correct in what you just expounded upon. That's why us humans honor our dead.
Good point. Good point.
I don't think a machine's going to honor a machine that don't work anymore. I'll let you go. Have a great day.
Thank you, my friend. Always appreciate hearing from you. Good caller over there in North Rapids. Appreciate him giving the call as always.
And I agree with a lot of what's being said, but I just think, and this isn't rude, I promise, because I agree completely. I think it's fantastic. But I think we're making a lot of analogies for something that you just can't make an analogy for. Like, this is one thing to travel to the moon, one thing to make self-driving cars, it's another to create something that is more intelligent than us.
Yeah.
We're lowering ourselves on the food chain on purpose.
Well,
and there's been concerns too about, you can just flip the switch, but we know it's not that easy.
Right.
And there's already talks of AI finding ways to blackmail, finding ways to sustain itself. You know, I'm not really in the whole realm of Skynet taking over.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about humans' existential crisis, at least mentally, and what we do as a society.
What are those series of movies about the society after nuclear worlds destroyed everything, and everybody's dressed up like punk metal rockers driving around these cars?
Mad Max.
Mad Max. I mean, is that the future, or is it more Wall-E, where we're just enjoying life so much that we're 400 pounds and anything we want we can imagine we get without effort, and we become, I mean, what is?
Maybe it'll exaggerate some of the issues you already have too. Like if you kind of just sit around and do nothing and take the money and just play video games all day, that might be what you're going to do more.
Yeah.
For some of us who like to go and do things, I would probably just lean into things I really like.
Right.
And try and get better at them.
So what is a problem that you would like AI to solve?
Medical.
Okay.
I think medical. But the price of it, some of the cures, some of the lack, we have a lack of doctors in a lot of the country, rural areas especially. I think it could maybe help beyond telemedicine.
So
where
you're
it could
saying
actually diagnose and
medical service delivery?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about disease cure?
That's what I was saying, cures.
That too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's pretty exciting.
I have a family in my church, they have a young son who was diagnosed years ago with this incredibly rare genetic disorder, and I think there's only like 12 in the whole United States, or some, I don't know what the number is, I don't want to exaggerate, but it's some incredibly low number, and it's so overwhelming. And there are times that, you know, we really rally around them. We try to always be uplifting, but then there are times life just goes on, and you kind of forget that they're dealing with this every single day.
Yep.
And if I could fix somebody, I'd fix him. You know, like find something to fix this so that he can have a normal childhood. You know, it would be nice.
Autism.
Yeah, right.
Figure that situation out.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But we can beat this dead horse all day, but it's just something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
It will be. We're all in the paying attention stage. I think we are anyway. A lot of folks are. And you made a comment off air. Elon Musk may be the most influential human right now because everything he says, people are like, you know, they're paying attention to because of what he's accomplished so far. I don't know how he's accomplished what he's accomplished. Well, I do know part of it is that the sacrifice of family because he's been married multiple times and, you know, what does he have, 10, 12 kids from all these
What is it, the stove burner theory?
Yes, I just saw that over the weekend.
Did you? So you have like four burners and you can't have them all blazing at once. You got to pick two, one very bright, three at a moderate, you know.
So they were family, work, friends, and health. Right? Those were the four.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the old saying, you know, fast, cheap, or free, pick any two. You know, well, so these four things, and that the mindset says you can have two and maybe three, but you will never have all four. So which one do you sacrifice? Well, he certainly sacrificed family.
And look, that's one thing that I have concerns about. I think everyone has their place, but we kind of glorify successful people who do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But they really lack in some important areas.
Mm-hmm.
But we really put them on a pedestal sometimes. And I think, you know, everyone's different and everyone is better at some things than others. But a lot of the successful people have to sacrifice a lot in things that I'm sure you were just not willing to sacrifice it.
Mm-hmm.
Or me, you know. But and that's not jealousy. That's not like, because I couldn't care less about a lot of that stuff. But we kind of glorify some of the wrong things sometimes too. However, I think he will go down, quite possibly as the most influential human being to walk the face of the earth, as we know it so far. So, it's pretty amazing. There's some things I don't agree with, for sure.
Of course.
Especially lately, but I think he's done a lot. And if all the things he said that he's going to do comes to fruition, it'd be pretty insane.
Well, how long will it be before we all do have self-driving cars? How long will it be before human-operated cars are outlawed because they're unsafe?
Because we're not as good of a driver as them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say in our lifetime. I'm going to say at what point in our lifetime will that come?
And we talk about blue-collar jobs, being able to analyze each situation, take some of the changes. It's not cookie cutter. You always have to make some adjustments and stuff. But how many times do we see where we just make mistakes constantly, over and over again? We have to go back and fix it. There's a possibility this technology wouldn't have to do that, or at least significantly less. You don't want to get, because sometimes, you know, I'm kind of into it. I like looking at it and watching and seeing the news and everything, but you do kind of go through the existential, like, man, what am I, if everything I'm doing right now is pointless, you know? And you always think your specific job is a safe one.
Yeah.
You know?
So we're living through the book of Ecclesiastes, vanity of vanities, all is vanity, right?
Yeah, I guess so. You may have to explain that to me more, but...
Well, his conclusion, the book of Ecclesiastes, I think it's 12 chapters long, is thought to have been written by Solomon later in his life because he had experienced everything. And essentially what he found was the pursuit of self-pleasure, whether it's through resources, books, knowledge, experiences, food, sexual relationships, whatever experience you could say, were all empty at the end. And his conclusion was, fear God and keep his commandments, because that's the whole of life. Another place he says, enjoy life with the wife of your youth. Like, just enjoy life with the woman God gave you.
And
there are days that the older I get, the more special that becomes.
Sure.
I wish I'd known some of these things when I was younger.
But just imagine, for all the religious folks out there, you know, AI does what it's going to do and replaces your jobs and everything. You just have more time to proselytize. You can full-time witness. You don't have to worry about anything else.
Can you imagine the Facebook arguments when we can do it 24?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, let me change the subject for you real quick before we go to the break. I finally ate at Olive Garden yesterday, and my wife's birthday. She turned years old, and yeah, I won't say that out loud, but she wanted to go to Olive Garden. So, hey, when your wife has a birthday on February 15th, and you consistently, they blend together with the 14th after 38 years of marriage, she's going to get what she wants. So somebody gave me the tip. I downloaded the app, and so I could join the wait list while we were still at church, and it told me it'd be about 40 minutes. So
It's not bad.
No, it wasn't.
No.
So we wrapped things up at church, locked the doors, made our way over there, got there, checked in, waited about 10 minutes, and got our table.
Good.
So I use the app, folks. It's a lifesaver.
We went to Diamond Grill Saturday night. Fantastic. It was so good.
It's a great. We usually go about once a year. It's not an experience we can have often, right? But it's what a delight to get to kind of dress up and play big city. You know.
It was. I got the New York strip with the lobster risotto.
What?
My wife got the seafood, some sort of pasta. You pay more, but it's fantastic.
Right. Service is great.
I don't know if I'm never going to eat anywhere else now. I just got to start saving up.
Well, when you get that universal high income that Elon's talking about, not universal basic income, but universal high income, you can eat there every day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I want to give, hey, we've all been craving Olive Garden for years, and there was a big crowd there. Saw a few people I knew. I mean, it is Olive Garden. It is what you expect. There was nothing out of the ordinary about it, but a nice experience to get to have that with my wife. Also wrote her a song, had AI help me.
There you go.
And did all of this. It took me 2 to 3 hours to get the finished product, and it made her cry. It achieved what it was intended to, because it had all those personal touches. I have this, I gave AI a big long paragraph, write me a song, this style, about my wife. This is how old she is. This is her birthday. This is where we met. This is how, our relationship evolved. And this is, these are our children's names. So then I told it, and I think this is a good prompt if you're using AI, ask me any questions about more information you may need. Well, it asked me like 5 questions right there. I answered those questions and gave it some more clarity, and then it asked me another question, and then it said, I think I've got enough. Well, then once it gave me that product, my first read was, I'm like, oh, this is great. Then I went back, I'm like, I want to tweak this, I want to tweak that. And then once I got my final product, I took it over to an app called, an AI called Suno.ai. And I paid for it because the basic service didn't quite give me what I wanted. So for $8 a month now, which I'll cancel. It's just a one-time use thing. But I got a amazing Alan Jackson-esque country love song for my wife that made her cry. So hero, AI for the win.
Good job.
All right, let's go to the break. We'll be back with more right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with The Clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry, with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients, and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics on North Bolton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
Now is the perfect time to call A1 Pools and get a nice in-ground pool installed before springtime gets here. Come on, stop putting it off and take the plunge with a new pool from A1 Pools. Plus, if you purchase a new in-ground pool from now till March 15th, you'll get 2 free sidewalk jets, a free dolphin cleaner, and a free saltwater system. Call A1 Pools now at 318-449-2093. Financing is available. That's 318-449-2093 for A1 Pools.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, welcome back to Talkback, where we're having a great time talking about AI and what happens. I said to you off air, if everybody can write an awesome love song to their wife, is it still special? And It was special yesterday, so I'll take that. I'll take that one for the win. You know, do you get the ads on Facebook? Like, you're scrolling and it goes, she thought I forgot her birthday, and then I played this song. You see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay for that kind of a service, but there were people, like, there were people doing that, humans that were doing that for years. They would be like, send us such and such, and we'll write and compose a song. But it was $200-300, you know, for that. Now you can do it for free, so, or practically free. All right, hey, let's change a little bit, transition over and talk about elections. Because qualifying did end on Friday, and locally in central Louisiana, we do have the only really local races are the city of Pineville races, and then the village of Creola has an alderman seat that needs to be filled. And so up in Creola, 2 candidates qualified, Crystal Hicks and Bliss Wise, both of whom have Dry Prong addresses because Creola, I think, works out of the Dry Prongs post office, and that's always confused people. They're like, well, I live in Pineville, have a Pineville address. Well, you're served by the Pineville post office. It's like people out in Gardner have a Boyce address because they're served out of the Boyce post office, right? So these folks there in Creola, election coming up here in May. I need to find out. I find it interesting because the election's in May, I think May 16th, and then the runoff is like June 27th. Well, they take office July 1, so there's only 30 days in June. Like, there's supposed to be I think there's 5 days that you can contest. A candidate can contest an election. It takes a couple of days for an election to be certified. So what happens if the election isn't certified until, say, the election's on the 27th, which is a Saturday, so 28th is Sunday, 29th is Monday, 30th is Tuesday. So, and a lot of times they're certified, you know, early in that week, but then there's a 5-day period for contesting, and there will be, for example, in the case of Pineville, you have 3 candidates for mayor, you have 3 candidates for District 1 and 3 candidates for District 5, so there's potentially 3 runoffs that will run into that June race, and I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. I was delighted to see two things I'll say. I was delighted to see so many people interested in running. I think that's wonderful. But I was also delighted to see Councilman Kevin Dorn be reelected without opposition. I said in the last hour, he's the kind of the dean of the council. He's been on there since 2000, provides a lot of wisdom and leadership. And so I'm happy for him because there were 2 or 3 cycles where I got elected without opposition, and he drew opposition. I know that's just bothersome. You know, it's like, and he always won handily, but I was happy for him. But I'm going to run down for you real quick. You've seen the names. Mayor of City of Pineville candidates for Joe Bishop, who is the incumbent appointed mayor. Chris Camp, who had previously announced that he was going to run for District 3 and then decided to run for the mayorship. And then Rusty Murdoch, longtime Pineville police officer, retired as assistant chief. And so those are the 3 candidates for mayor. District 1 has Greg Aaron, the last one to qualify. I don't know him. My understanding is he worked for IP years ago, and then the IP plant shut down. He moved away, and then he's retired and moved back home. He always kept a residence here, his family here. That's just what I've been told about him. Dan Udy lives on Ball Street. I hear he's a landlord, and again, someone I haven't met. And then, of course, Randy O'Neill, who is the appointed incumbent to that seat after Mary Galloway resigned from the seat. In District 3, you have Peter Ford, who is a longtime member of the Finance Committee for the City of Pineville. And then you have Hugh Hall, who at one point was the Public Works Director for the City of Pineville. So both of them will have good knowledge of the city operations. District 4, you have John Marcase, who is the appointed incumbent to fill out the term for retired Councilman Tom Boucher. John, longtime well-known sports writer at the Town Talk and then at Rapides Regional Medical Center for many years. And Celeste Mobley, longtime member of the Zoning Commission. So great experience there from those. In District 5, Mark Mertens, a Pineville High School teacher and coach. Tom Murphy, a retired businessman in Pineville. And Samantha Stanley, who lives on Edgewood Drive. She's the only one I don't know. I haven't met her before, but she qualified on Friday. And so, hey, you've got some great selections there. I'm sure over the next few weeks, Al will arrange for interviews with these different candidates. And you've already done profiles on all of them, right?
I'm posting some more today.
Okay. Yeah.
But I have interviews scheduled with mostly all of them this week.
Yeah, I've heard you say you like the fact that their email addresses and phone numbers are on there, which is great. That wasn't always the case in the early years when I first qualified, but that's there now. And I did find it interesting. Several of them have hotmail.com addresses. I hadn't seen Hotmail in a long time. You know?
I got a Hotmail, too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had a Hotmail address.
We got Mark Mertens coming in this morning, and I have like 4 tomorrow.
All right, man. Well, good. Well, I've seen most of yours already. I saw Mark's picture, so I thought you'd done the profile, but the video profile you haven't done yet.
I'm doing both.
So you did like a picture with a statement, that's now that I think about it, and then you're going back and giving them the opportunity to do a video, like short-form interview.
Yep.
Well, great.
Yep.
Well, great. Well, that's going to be interesting to watch over the next few months. You know, Pineville in a good trajectory, good direction, and it will be some pretty significant changes. There will be 4 newly elected council members. Even if John Marquez and Randy O'Neill are elected, they would be first-time elected because they were appointed. So you'll have 4 newly elected council members and a newly elected mayor, although Joe Bishop is in the seat. He was appointed. So
John's been there a month.
Yeah, exactly. And Randy's been there, 16 months or so, 15, 14 months, something like that. So it's going to be good to see what happens, and I'll certainly be paying close attention as I love my city, and I have to make a decision on 2 elections. I get to vote in District 5, and I get to vote for the mayor. So I'm looking forward to hearing all the conversations and seeing how that goes. Very much appreciate all the folks who put their name forth. I know what it's like to be in the arena, and so I admire those who are willing to throw their name in the hat.
And once that's over, we move into the city of Alexandria.
Yeah, that's going to be even more excitement because it's a larger city, so we'll have all that good stuff. When we come back, it's the bottom of the hour break right now. We come back, we'll talk about some of the candidates for the national and statewide or regional elections that affect Arapahoe Parish. Back with more right after this on Talkback.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A key measure of consumer inflation fell to a nearly 5-year low last month as apartment rent price growth slowed. Prices at the gas pump fell, along with the cost of used cars, furniture, and auto insurance. And that good news about easing price pressures led investors to believe that the Federal Reserve could lower interest rates as many as 3 times this year. That sent stocks higher, at least for most of today's session. And at the closing bell, the Dow was 49 points higher. The Nasdaq, though, was down 50. The S&P ahead by 3. Gold prices back above the 5,000 mark today. Silver was higher as well. And the Trump administration moving ahead with a more than $38 billion plan to remake the U.S. immigration detention system. That includes acquiring and renovating 16 detention centers, adding processing sites, and taking control of 10 existing facilities to streamline the removal of those they say are in the U.S. illegally. And the largest facilities can hold as many as 10,000 people. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Cenla's best at Bricato's Restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found GoodRx. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's GoodRx, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to GoodRx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Good morning. Some clouds to start us out on this Monday. That's going to give way to mainly sunny skies this afternoon. 68 for the afternoon high. Not bad at all. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and some fog as well. 51 the overnight low. And then the clouds are back for Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see the afternoon highs on Tuesday near 75 degrees and then 80 degrees for the high on Wednesday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
Welcome back to Talk Back. We're having a good time talking about all sorts of things, not just AI. We're talking about local races. Let's take a look at some of the bigger races in the Senate. As you recall, we have closed primaries, and that's what pushed the dates back. The legislature pushed the dates back. To allow for the possibility of the Supreme Court ruling on the 6th district. Supreme Court did not, but the dates were pushed back. Also, because of closed primaries, all that happened. And this is the very first time Louisiana's had closed primaries since I don't know when. On the Democratic side, for U.S. Senator Nick Alvarez from New Orleans, Gary Crockett from New Orleans, and Jamie Davis from Faraday, all qualified. Interesting when you see Jamie Davis has his email address is info@jamieforlouisiana.com. So he's obviously, geared up in that mindset. The other ones have Gmail addresses. On the Republican side, Bill Cassidy drew 3 opponents. Of course, Bill Cassidy, the incumbent, longtime incumbent. John Fleming has thrown his name in the hat, formerly worked for the governor in his administration, currently serving as Secretary of the Treasury. Julia Letlow, the current U.S. 5th District Representative out of Monroe. And her address is Baton Rouge, though, in the qualifying, so that was interesting. P.O. Box. And then Mark Spencer from Belle Chase. So you have what looked like was going to be a more crowded field earlier on is 4 candidates for the Republican nomination to the Senate. 4th Congressional District doesn't really impact us too much. On the Democratic side, Conrad Cable and Matt Gromlich from Farmerville and Greenwood. On the Republican side, of course, the incumbent Mike Johnson from Bossier City and Joshua Murat. Yeah, I heard Al talk about him the other day. He's qualified the last 2 or 3 times.
It was me. Yeah.
Oh, you commented?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's originally from here in Alexandria. I know he lived here for a while.
Interesting.
But he lives in Benton, Arkansas, so I don't know how that works. And then Mike Nichols from Pitkin. So interesting to see a Pitkin fellow throw his name in the hat.
We've had him on the show, too.
Oh, you have?
Mm-hmm.
I missed that interview. All right, on the 6th district side, only Cleo Fields on the Democratic side. But on the Republican Party side, 4 candidates, 4 interesting black male Republicans. 3 black male and 1 female. Monica Peening from St. George, Louisiana, the black female Republican. And then Larry Davis from Livingston, Louisiana. Chris Johnson from Greenwell Springs. And Peter Williams from Lettsworth, Louisiana. So those are all the opponents for the Republican nomination to take on Cleo Fields. Interestingly, when it comes to the Associate Justice 4th District, Democratic Party, nobody qualified. And on the Republican side, the only person that qualified is the incumbent, Jay McCullum. We had Jay McCullum speak at the Louisiana Municipal Association prayer breakfast a couple of years ago. Fascinating speaker, great stories of faith, and I can see why he would be reelected with opposition. So that rounds up the kind of the statewide or larger areas like the Associate Justices that impact Rapides Parish. We've already talked about Creola and Pineville. So you'll have municipalities in the fall. I know both Alexandria and Ball will have races. Alexandria will have 4 council members, 1 at large, and 3 district races, if I recall. And Ball will have all 5 council members and mayor. They all run at the same time. And so you wonder, why is it different? Well, Ball along with about 200 and some odd municipalities operate under the what's called the Lawrison Act, and that dictates how they run. Alexandria is a home rule charter, so their charter tells how, and they've intentionally set it up every 2 years. There will be an election. They serve 4-year terms, but they're staggered. All right, phone lines lit up.
I like staggered better.
All right, let's go to the phone line, and I'll come back to your question about staggered in a minute. Good morning, caller. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Hey, double dip this morning, but I want to point out something.
Yes, sir.
Couple things. Number one, their attack ads on Julia Letlow have already started. And the problem I've got with a bunch of them is they're saying the same crap that they said regarding who was running for governor, Dr. Abraham, when the guy who was running as a Republican said he voted with Nancy Pelosi over 300 times. Yeah, he voted to close debate on the House floor. The dishonesty that what we're seeing, it's sickening. I didn't know if you were aware of that.
No, I wasn't.
That's how we wound up with 8 years of John Bell.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear liberal Julia Letlow, it kind of makes you snicker a little
I'm going,
bit,
okay, she may not be a hardcore conservative, but she's certainly not a liberal.
Right.
Or much less a leftist. And that's one thing. I've chastised Moon Griffon. He gets annoyed with me when I do. I tell him.
He still takes your call?
There's a big difference in a leftist and a liberal. Because if you look back at classic liberalism, they believe most of the things that quote unquote conservatives do, just slightly different. But the other one was good luck to anybody wanting to challenge Cleo Fields as a Republican. Even though, yes, I know you've got some black Republicans going to run, I don't think they'll get the votes. Not in that district.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. The only advantage I see to that, or not the only, an advantage I see, is that the fact that there is a race, there will be developing name recognition between these four, and whoever comes out the top will have at least had some time to get their name out there. On the flip side, I don't know how many candidates just go to the poll and look for the D or look for the R, and they choose based on that. So that'll be the question. If it's an ingrained Democratic district, as it appears to be, then you may be absolutely right.
I mean, he's the incumbent, and he has the most name recognition.
He does.
So
I will, and look, to his credit, he's been responsive whenever I've reached out to his office, and as every representative should. I can tell you that not all of our U.S. representatives have been responsive to me.
I've seen him here the most than anybody in Congress.
Interesting.
Since I've been
And he only has a sliver of Rapides Parish, really, the north side of the river, so interesting. All right, we got to take a break. Hey, thanks for calling. Always appreciate hearing from you. We'll take a break, go back to the next caller right after this.
KSYL.
Craig's Cleaners is now looking for some good employees. In particular, Craig's is looking for people with cashier experience and who have a valid driver's license. It's a pretty sweet job, too. Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. with no weekends. Wow. That's right. Here's your chance for every weekend off. Wow. So if you're interested in working for Craig's Cleaners, please apply in person at Craig's main location at 1746 Elliott Street, Alexandria.
Gumbo weather is here, so come get you a hot and hearty bowlful at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express. It's your quick in and quick out headquarters for lunch. It's right there on the corner of North MacArthur and Bayou Rapides. Come get you some gumbo or choose from a selection of crisp, fresh salads. Try one of their hot or cold sub sandwiches made your way. And don't forget their hamburgers. Give Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express a try for lunch on North MacArthur Drive at Bayou Rapides Road.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talk Back. It's time to go talking back on the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Yeah, talking about Julia Letlow and Cassidy's ad, the Heritage Foundation gives Julia Letlow a higher score than it does Bill Cassidy when it comes to voting for conservative values.
Well, that's interesting. According to the ad, she's there with Hillary Clinton and who's the lady from California that has all the stock trades? Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. You know, he's closer to them than she is.
And look, I think they're all conservative. They're all Republicans. If you're going to have a scale, if somebody is, 95% and somebody's 85%, then they're going to say that the 85% is the leftist when they're still 35 points to the right of center. And I'm making up numbers, right? But that's just how politics is, where they throw daggers.
Now, he talked about her insider trading. I looked up. She's been very active in the stock market now, and the reason she did get in some trouble because like 211 of her stock trades weren't registered in 45 days like they're supposed to be. But she says the firm that has discretionary authority to invest her stock market for her, they weren't aware of that rule. And some of the stocks she invested in, I was just shaking my head. I mean, a couple of them were just dogs. I mean, why would you wouldn't invest in that? And then she had a good many bond purchases, but she says she's not doing. She doesn't do the actual stock market, trading.
And what I've read about that, to her credit, her office informed the House Ethics Committee of the violation. So it was a self-reported issue because it is managed by someone else. Now, here's what I don't get. According to the story I read, she uses Merrill Lynch. And if Merrill Lynch didn't know they were supposed to do that, then come on now. So I doubt that she directed them not to. I credit her for self-reporting the oversight.
I'm not going to vote for her anyway. I'm going to vote for John Fleming. But
yeah, John's got some like almost left out. You worked for Trump, but he didn't get the Trump love on the nomination. But he's a hard worker. I've met him several times. Enjoyed visiting with him when he was giving out money. He likes to give out money from that. What's that program called? Where
unclaimed property or something.
Yeah. So, but he seems he's run it very well. And we talked about some of the. I didn't realize how divested he was in owning businesses. I mean, he owns quite a few businesses, has several hundred employees through his Subway franchises and things like that. Plus, being a doctor and keeping his medical practice alive. So, definitely got some credentials, some impressive credentials there as a businessman.
Yeah, I talked to him. He's very, very knowledgeable. He's a high energy guy. He's my age. I don't have the energy. He goes to all those carbon capture, sequestration meetings, and I mean, he's all over the place.
And that would be the only reason I can think of that Trump didn't back him, is because Trump has not definitively said himself, but the WhiteHouse.gov has information out on carbon capture. So, that may be why Trump has not endorsed him, if he feels like carbon capture. Well, let me back up. Carbon capture goes on. Sequestration, I think, is the bigger issue. And if he feels like it's a part of an international trade policy that he wants to pursue, then he's not going to back a guy who's against it.
I'm disappointed he didn't endorse Fleming. I think he's a better choice than Julia Letlow.
Well, and this is why I love this format, because folks get to call in and share those opinions and help us educate one another. So I definitely appreciate your perspective.
Maybe one thing that bothered me about her, maybe this is sexist, but her husband dies. She has two very small children. She goes to Congress. Who's raising her children? Congress is not. It's not a 9-to-5 job. They're way busy behind the scenes, and I don't know. That just kind of bothered me. Like, this is raising her children. Small children need their mother. I say they were, but
she definitely was a heartfelt choice when her husband died, right? And it's not uncommon for a spouse to be appointed. There was a sense of sympathy, I think, and loyalty, and the guy did earn the seat because he was elected but died before he could take office. But certainly there will be conflicted feelings about that choice, and her children. I have no inside information at all about how that, that dynamic works, but I just have sympathy for her losing him.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah. Well,
okay, thank
you, man. I always appreciate hearing from you, and we'll Nope, I thought we had a call, but it dropped off. So 318-442-8255. We've only got one segment left after this. So if you have a phone call about a topic, please give us a call. We'd love to hear from you about any topic, things we've talked about or things we haven't talked about. Stephen, you had a question that I went to a call and I cut you off and now forgot. Well, no, it wasn't really a question. It was a comment.
Staggered elections on a council.
Yeah. I can really see the value of that because of the continuity. So like, anytime let's go back. We see it in the U.S. House where all 435 run every 2 years, which means they're always running all the time. Where on the Senate, there's stability where a third run every 6 years, right? Or every 2 years, I'm sorry. They serve 6-year terms. The stability on the Senate side from those staggered terms, I think, can benefit Alexandria, because while 4 are having to pay attention to issues, that's a plus and a negative. It's a negative in that you're focusing on going door to door. Your time is looking for re-election. On the positive side, that keeps you engaged. Going door to door was one of my favorite parts of campaigning.
Yeah.
It's tiresome, no doubt, but the engagement, and I will say that to any candidate, you're going to love it. You're going to get tired of doing it because it wears you out. You're going to lose some weight, and you're going to go through a pair of shoes, and if you don't, then you didn't do it right. But talking to people and I kept a notebook. I had a full notebook of issues that people brought up that then gave me my job assignment, my working orders for the next several years to resolve, whether it was drainage issues. In my district, drainage issues were the top, but animal control issues and neighbor blight issues, those were things that were pointed out that people who live there see. Hey, there's traffic going on at this house all the time that shouldn't be there. I don't live there. I don't know. So great stuff. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm double dipping too.
Al's out, so we're going to play, right?
Yeah, well, anyway, Miss Letlow was a university administrator before she lost her husband and became a representative. She had babies when she was a university administrator. Now, I kind of follow with the gentleman that just called and said, who indeed was raising her children?
Well, I lost that last thing. You said who's raising her children? Is that what you said?
Correct.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a legitimate question.
Well, sure. That's not uncommon, though. I mean, we have to recognize in the world in which we live, those are choices that women make all the time, right? Career, children, family, that balance. And some would say it's unfair to have a different set of expectations on the lady than on the men. Others would say by nature, the lady is more, what's the word I'm looking for? Nurturing. And so that's sometimes why it goes in that direction, because of that nurturing aspect. And so, man, Julia's not the only one that's had to wrestle with that.
Well, I agree with you, but it's a legitimate question.
Certainly.
That people should wrestle with when making a decision who to vote for.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's any of my concern.
I think when you're looking at, if you're looking for somebody to represent your values, then you're going to ask, do they reflect the way that I make choices? And of those who say, there will be many who say, well, no, my wife and I were equal shares, and so it's really okay. And others would say, no, I prefer the more traditional view, and those are the decisions that each one will make.
That's true, but if you don't know that, to be able to consider that in making your decision who to vote for, hey, out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
Could well be.
I also think it's bad if Dad's never home either.
Yeah. And look, as a Cats in the Cradle dad, you know the song Cats in the Cradle, I lived it, and one of the reasons I'm stepping away from politics so I can give more time to the people in my house. So, hey, appreciate your call. Got to take the last break. We'll be back with the final segment right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics,
For over 35 years, Security Metal Roofing has been Cenla's trusted name for metal buildings and roofing. When it comes to the highest quality materials at rock-bottom prices and top-tier service, nobody does it better. And don't worry, great prices doesn't mean cutting corners. Our Cool Chemistry color sheeting comes with a 40-year warranty, plus the peace of mind that comes with a team that has over 150 years of combined experience. From sheeting and red iron to roll-up doors and insulation, you get more for your money at Security Metal Roofing. Whether you need a new roof, carport, or are building your dream shop, we're here to help every step of the way. Apples to apples, we won't be undersold. And that's a guarantee. Call 445-0223 for your quote today. Or visit us at Security Metal Roofing on Masonic Drive in Alexandria. Or online at securitymetalroofing.com. Security Metal Roofing, your local experts in metal roofing and buildings, where quality, service, and price come together.
If your church family is looking to extend its outreach, KSYL may have what you're looking for. You can rebroadcast your service or create something new aimed at getting parishioners into the pews. Interested? Drop me an email, dave@ksyl.com.
Now back to Talkback 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
Welcome back. That's not the song. I just tell Steve I just watched a video, AI generated. Wile E. Coyote sitting at home with his wrinkled face, looking at pictures of his chases of the Roadrunner. And as he's reminiscing in his older age, there's a knock at the door, and there's the Roadrunner. Got a brace on one leg, using cane or crutches. He's got his wrinkles. While he looks at him, Roadrunner looks at him, they embrace, and then the sign comes up. That's all, folks. So they live happily ever after, I guess.
And then he eats them.
I wondered about that, but no, it didn't have that. I was waiting for that turn at the end. By the way, we are enjoying House of David on Amazon Prime. And tonight we're going to watch the last episode of season 2. You know, I know what happens in the Bible, but the movie's been great. The series has been awesome.
Is it animated?
No, live actions. Really?
Oh, okay.
Yes, excellent. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Good morning.
Hello, sir.
Stephen, I did a little checking. If you want to get in touch with Julia Letlow, you go to info@julialetlow.com.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the way to contact her. And Cleo Fields is the local rep. She doesn't rep the local area.
Not anymore. Not after the redistricting. That's right.
Yeah. The thing I found out also, Monroe was really devastated by the ice storm.
Mm-hmm.
Lots and lots of trees down from Oak Grove down past Monroe. The sewer system went out. People are still now struggling to get electric power and water. So they really got hit in Monroe.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm friends with the mayor up there, Stacey Albritton, and her chief of staff, Courtney Hornsby, who's actually from Ball, Louisiana, and they were slammed. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, destroyed. Yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Stephen, have a great day, buddy.
You too, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, I need to give a thank you to one of our listeners. I didn't thank him last week when I came in on Tuesday. I don't know if I should say his name or not. I'll just, Mr. ST, thank you for the sourdough bread that your wife made. It was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Thank
you enjoy yours?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
And I got, he also brought a couple of jars of jelly, and he's given me jelly before. I had Mayhaw and what was the other one last time?
Cherry?
No, this time it was. Last time it was Mayhaw and another similar one. This time, I'd never in my life had black cherry jelly. And then, of course, I've had strawberry, but his wife makes this. Oh, my goodness, it was so good.
Good.
And then on top of that, that sourdough bread toasted, and I would take some avocado. Y'all are going to laugh at me. You're going to say I'm a yuppie or a leftling or well, I don't know what you're going to say. But I would take an avocado and smash it up, pour some salt on there and a little bit of fajita seasoning on it, and then put that on that toasted sourdough bread. Oh, my goodness, it was so good. So, Mr. ST, if you're listening, thank you. Man, that was one of the benefits of working on a pier. Every now and then somebody shows up with food, and we like them.
Man, you, first thing, you make avocado toast. Tomorrow, you're going to be carrying a scythe and a hammer.
You know, I used to drive a, what's that Toyota hybrid car? Prius. Can you believe I had a Prius? 50 miles to the gallon in
they're
town,
fantastic.
baby. That was sweet. I love it and miss it. Of course, when the gas is down at $2 a gallon, it's not too bad. But when it was, $3.80, that 50 miles a gallon was really nice.
Look, I'm not making fun of anybody, but I see a lot of these jacked up trucks that I doubt a lot of them need it. And like, man, I feel bad you spent all that money on that truck.
That will
$400 tires and...
Yeah. I had a jacked up truck when I was a missionary in Mexico. I had a 6-inch Skyjacker lift with double shocks on the front end, 35-inch gumbo motor tires. But I used it every day, lock in those hubs. And
look, I get it. Like, if I'm going to spend money on a car that I don't need, I'd want like a super nice jacked up Tahoe. I love those new Tahoe. The new police units, they're fantastic.
They look sharp. I'll have to admit, the Teslas have been drawing my attention.
I would take a Cybertruck, too.
I would, too. I know people think I'm crazy for that because they look like what I drew in kindergarten of a car, But all the technology is in there, so cool.
I love it.
And a friend of mine I saw yesterday, he told me he'd take me in his. He's got just a regular, I don't know which model it is, but he said it's super fun. And I've got another friend who had one, that 0 to 60 speed in about 4 seconds. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up today's show. Tomorrow, we invite you to come back and join us. It'll be me and Stephen again because Al is out this week. Sorry. But I'm normally here on Tuesday, so we look forward to having a great show with you, and we'll have the economic update with Matt Ritchie coming up in hour number 2 tomorrow, so come back for that. We'll see you guys then. Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to Talk Back. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers